guys, if you'd like to know how I did this amazing puff puff buns in just 10 minutes with just 3 ingredients, then keep watching. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, it's good to have you here, and if you're old, well, thank you for your love and support and for coming back over and over again. Today I'm going to be making puff puff or puff puff like buns. Okay, puff puff basically it's fried dough, and it's usually eaten in Africa. It's as a dessert, or if you reduce the sugar content, you can actually eat it as a starter. In my house, we have it as breakfast. Puff puff usually requires yeast, and yeast takes time to activate, like you know. Although there is now a fast rising yeast which you can use and it will activate, it should be ready in like 30 minutes. But today I'm going to show you an easy way to get puff puff. So just 3 ingredients. Like I said, I need self-raising flour, you need granulated sugar, white granulated sugar, and you need salt. Okay, and then obviously water to mix it, but that I don't count as an ingredient, but if you want to count it, then that's 4. But first of all, for me to get it done in 10 minutes, I have to get my oil on the fire just now. So something like a wok or a deep frying pan is good. You don't need a flat frying pan like an omelette pan. That's not going to work. You need something a bit with some depth. Okay, so this my pan, I think is about 6 to 7 centimeter deep. Okay, and I'll just put my vegetable oil in the pan and put it on the fire just now before I show you how to do the dough. Okay, I can't really tell you the quantity for the vegetable oil. You're deep frying this dough, so obviously it should be like half of the pan. Depends on the size of your pan. So my oil is in the fire, it's heating up. We have to do this in 10 minutes, so let me show you quickly how to make this dough. What you will need is self-raising flour. It's the best option if you want to do this without yeast. Obviously puff puff usually you would use yeast, but to do it in 10 minutes, self-raising flour is what you need. Okay, if you don't have self-raising flour, I'll put an alternative in the description bar below. Okay, and all these ingredients will also be there. But yeah, basically you can use plain flour with some baking soda or baking powder. It will work okay. It will not be as perfect as self-raising flour would be, but it will still be nice. Okay, so let me get right with this. I've made it easy. You do not need to weigh anything. All you need is your set of measuring cups, which I've shown you before that it's a lifesaver. Okay, and spoons. But if you don't have them, you can still do it. I tell you, don't worry about anything. I always tell you alternatives. So if you don't have the cups, you can use a normal cup, a mug, or a glass cup, whatever you have at home. It's the same thing if you stick with the recipe. So here I will be using 1.5 cup of flour, self-raising flour, remember. So this is my 1 cup. You measure it in quickly. Remember your oil is heating up. This is 1 cup. Make sure it's nice and flat. Don't overfill it, because if you overfill it, you will ruin the recipe. So this is 1 cup, and you can put half of that cup. That's 1.5 cup in there. Okay, next is 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar. Okay, so 1/4 cup, that's it. 1/4. You can reduce that if you think it's too sugary, but this is perfect. Then you add half a teaspoon of salt, or 1 pinch of salt. Okay, that's half a teaspoon of salt. That is optional. Some people don't like salt. I like a little bit of salt. And then 1 cup of water. So like I said, you can use the same cup. I'm showing you this just to show that 1 cup is still the same thing as if I poured it in here. That the same cup that I use to measure my flour. So 1 cup of water, preferably lukewarm water. That's just like your water from your tap. Okay, and then you just mix that up. The dough is very loose, so don't worry about it. You mix that up in less than 30 seconds. Sorry about the sound. So just mix it up quickly. If you don't know how to mix, you can use a whisk, but I don't think you really need a whisk because this is pretty easy. because in 30 seconds my dough is ready. Look at that. How easy is that? It's as easy as ABC. Okay, yeah. So now I'll go over to the fire, my gas cooker, and fry up the dough. Okay, so this is, you can see that how watery the dough is, so it's usually quite tricky to scoop. Don't worry about it, that's how it should be, because you want your puff like buns to have the puff consistency, which is a soft inside. Okay, you can see some bubbles in the dough, which is what the yeast would do and what the self-raising flour did. So now in the 3 minutes that I was mixing my dough and talking to you guys, my oil is hot enough. But if you are not quite sure, you need to check by just putting a little pinch. You can use your finger and just drop a tiny bit of butter into the oil. If it comes straight up, that means your oil is hot enough. Okay, that shows that my oil is hot enough. But if it sticks to the bottom, your oil is not ready yet, because you don't want to put the batter in when the oil is cold to soak up a lot of oil. Okay, I usually use my hand. My daughter has shown me how to use spoon because she hates doing it. Jenna always does this recipe every Friday for breakfast, but she doesn't touch it with her hand because she's an ajebota. So she scoops it like this. She uses 1 tablespoon and then she uses a teaspoon or another tablespoon to push it off. Okay, and then she gets some nice round dough, but it doesn't have to be round, trust me. It's nicer if it's round, but even if you can't get it to be round, it's still okay. You can see the puff it turns itself, it flips itself. Once it cooks on one side, it flips itself. But I like to be faster and I use my hand. Make sure your hand is properly washed and you can scoop with your hand, because I like to be fast. Scoop with 4 fingers and push out with your thumb. Okay, so I scoop with 4 fingers and I push out with my thumb. That's the old school way of doing it, or the Nigerian way, and I still get the same results. Okay, don't be scared to drop it in, it won't burn you. So, or you can raise your hand up if you're scared of the oil. So scoop with 4 fingers, push up with your thumb. I feel like that's faster instead of trying to use the spoon. The spoon slows me down, and I don't want some of the puff to start burning while the other ones are not cooked yet. You can see how fast I am with that. Okay, you get nicely rounded puff. You can make them bigger if you don't want to have small size ones. You can make it bigger, but I feel like this cooks really fast. Can you see that? That is awesome. I've not turned the puff, it just turns itself. It just flips. Once it cooks on one side, it just flips by itself. I've finished. That's my batter done. Can you see that? I'll show you another one that is, I'm not touching it, it's just cooking at the same, see, it just goes. So I don't know the physics behind it, but it just goes, it just turns itself. Okay, but if you see anyone that is not turning by itself, you can help it up. You can use a frying spoon to turn it. So all you need to do is cook this for about 4 minutes or until golden brown. Your heat might be different, so you might not need to cook it for up to 4 minutes. I feel it's already cooked inside, but you can make it a bit more brown. I like it like something like that, really golden brown. But they cook really fast, trust me, they do. It cooks through. That's why they're small. I like them smaller, because when they're smaller they cook even faster than when you make it bigger. Okay, so they cook through quickly. So 4 minutes in the fire, and look at what I've got. Perfectly nicely rounded puff. You need an absorbent paper. If you don't have absorbent paper, you can use your kitchen towel, or you can use old newspaper. It doesn't matter, just so that it will drain up, it will absorb any excess oil. Look at that, gorgeous puff like buns in less than 10 minutes. Hi, so yeah, that's the finished product. Look at how gorgeous that looks, and it's amazing. This buns is so easy. Anybody can do it. My kids do it. I get ready for work and I make this for them to eat for breakfast before we go out, because it's just 10 minutes. You can do it. It's super easy. If you're not used to puff puff, like if you're not from Nigeria, let me tell you, it's so delicious. It can be served as dessert. You can use it, you can pack it as snack, as to take to work, or for your kids to take to school. You can also have it for breakfast. My kids have it for breakfast. They love to have it with golden syrup, chocolate spread, strawberry syrup. They eat it just like this. I have sprinkled some sugar on it, as you can see, some granulated sugar. You can sprinkle icing sugar on it and just eat it like that. If you want to use it as appetizers or starters for your main, you can just reduce the sugar content a bit, so it will be like a savory fried dough, so it will also work as appetizer. And you can use like hot sauce to garnish it and put some salad by the side or something like that, or some parma ham and some cheese, and then it's an appetizer. So whatever works for you, try this recipe and let me know how you get on. It's super easy, as you can see. With just things in your cupboard, it's ready in less than 10 minutes. I did it in 8 minutes, but for a starter it might take you 10 minutes. Okay, this recipe gave me 20 puff puffs. So if you have a bigger family, you can double the recipe. Just times everything I did, just times it by 2, and you get the same perfect results. If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, share it with anybody that you think will like it. Till next time, keep living, loving and laughing. Bye. So I'll just show you before we dig in. See how the outside is a little bit crunchy, not too much, and the inside, when you open it up, look at that. It's nice, soft and fluffy. It's so delicious. And so I can't wait. Like